Hey guys, this is your host Eric. Today we are going to watch horror genre movie called 9 Dead. Spoilers ahead, turn on your subtitle, I greatly appreciate your support. Enjoy the video. In Los Angeles, a mysterious man gets ready to take people away. He makes a prison and gives himself weapons that won't kill him. Then, he puts on a mask and goes out. Sully Fenton, who runs a strip club and is a mean person, is the first person the attacker kills. He is also a loan shark, which is someone who lends people money and makes a lot of money from it. Sully yells at one of his dancers very loudly for sitting down while on duty. The dancer leaves the building, but the attacker stops him and abd. The next night, a detective named Dean Jackson is taken in the same way as he and another officer were leaving a building. His partner is sprayed in the eyes. Next, a man named Kogan hears the news and gets suspicious. He figures out that the attacker is after him and tries to attack him with a knife, but he is smarter than him. A night out with his friends also leads to the arrest of Hollywood actor Christian Collins, a priest named Father Francis, a gangster named Leon, the owner of a Chinese store named Nong Chan, an employee of an insurance company named Eddie Vigoda, and an assistant district attorney named Kelly Murphy are also taken. They are all put in a cell and handcuffed to separate poles. Sacks are put over their heads, and their mouths are taped shut. Soon, the person who attacked many people walks into the cell to let the prisoners out and speak. Then he tells them that he has brought them together for a reason, which he wants them to find out. If they can't figure out why they are there in 10 minutes, he says that one person will be kicked out. He says that he will let the survivors go once they figure out the puzzle and turn him into the police. He will start the clock and get out of the cell. The prisoners can't believe it. First, she didn't know what to do. Leon thinks that the person who attacked him is just a cop playing a joke. Kogan uses history to back him up, but Jackson is sure it can't be true. Eddie has one, too. He knows that there can't be a worse reason for someone to want revenge, so he thinks that someone must have done something wrong to a child. So he asks them what they can remember. Kogan admits to this, but he doesn't say if it was a boy or a girl because he says it doesn't matter to him. After that, Eddie wants to start writing these things down and introduce himself to the others. He takes Chuck's notebook and starts writing. Next, he asks Kelly if she has done anything wrong, but she says she has never put someone in jail wrongly and made them want to get even. Christian knows who Sully is. All of a sudden, he says that Sully lent him money by giving him drugs, which he then sold by mistake to undercover police, which sent him to prison for 3 years. When Sully asks if he paid back, Christian says that he knows what happens to people who don't pay Sully back, even though he had nothing before and after his imprisonment. He says that he gave him the money as soon as he got out. Jackson asks if anyone else isn't from Los Angeles when he finds out that Sully isn't from there. Kogan says that he has been to more than one prison in different parts of the country. Father Francis says he runs a Catholic church in San Fernando Valley, and Eddie is from Barstow. Leon says he won't talk and doesn't care who is attacking him. Then they saw the Chinese woman and realized she probably doesn't speak English. After a while, they only have 2 minutes left, and everyone is eager to find out what happened. As soon as the clock stops moving, the countdown stops, and the attacker goes into the cell. When he asks them if they know the answer to his riddle, they don't seem to, so he pulls the trigger on his gun and shoots Christian, threatening to come back in 10 minutes. But he tells them before he leaves. Also, they would have to find out why Christian was in the cell. They now number 8. Left Kogan later told Jabbers that he did 5 years in prison. Jackson asks him why he went to jail, but he doesn't tell the truth. Kelly soon begs Leon to talk, so he agrees and says that he and his brother were thieves, but he says he has never hurt anyone or touched them in an inappropriate way. Jackson sees this as a loop and asks Kelly if she ever brought charges against Leon. But it doesn't look like Leon was ever charged. As a priest, Father Francis can't listen to much more of their confessions. But Eddie doesn't think he's clean because he's in the same cell as them. They also ask Eddie to say some things, and he says that he once lied on forms to get his brother-in-law with colon cancer medical care. Next, Kelly says that she and Jackson have slept together in the past, and maybe Jackson's ex-wife is getting back at them. Since none of the other prisoners know each other, they know this isn't true. Leon speaks on and he figures out how to free himself from the handcuffs. So, he asks Sully, who is closest to him, to break his hand so he can slip out of the handcuffs. When he does, Sully gently pulls his hand out of the cuff and runs away, ignoring the others who are calling for help with their cuffs. The person who is after Leon has been watching them the whole time. When he finds him, they start fighting. Leon grabs his gun and points it at something. But the person who is going to attack has everything planned out. He tells Leon that he has spent 2 years planning this attack and can't afford to lose. Leon's gun is almost empty because the attacker would only load it with 1 bullet before coming into the cell. Leon runs away right away, but the attacker shoots him twice with another gun. He then pulls him back into the cell and hooks him up to his pole. After 10 minutes, the attacker asks again what the answer is. Since they aren't able to give him one yet, he goes to Kogan. Kogan says that if he dies, he doesn't want his blood to get on anyone. So Kogan grabs the attacker's neck to strangle him, but the attacker shoots him in the heart and drags him away, threatening to come after him. For Leon, the clock starts ticking again, and this time they are scared to death. They have 8 minutes to figure out why Leon is also on death row. Then Mrs. Chan realizes that Kelly was her lawyer when a man named Wade stole from her. So, Eddie has already given them a timeline that they each need to fill out to solve the puzzle. Leon, who didn't want to talk, now says he lied when he said he had never killed anyone because he killed his brother for cheating him and then sold the guns they had left. He also tells the others what the attacker told him, which was that the attacker had been planning the attack for 2 years. So, they all try to remember what they did wrong 2 years ago, but the countdown ends at the same time. The attacker comes in and kills Leon. As soon as the new countdown starts, Father Francis says he already knows why he and someone else are there, but he can't say why because it was told to him in his confessional and Father Francis has already made up his mind. Eddie keeps looking at the situation and finds that the attacker might not be planning to get directly involved. He might want to get even with people who only made his life a little worse. So he wants everyone to tell the truth about everything they have ever done. Sully says that he once got rid of a man for hitting him. Jackson also says that he beat a speeding driver so hard that the driver went blind. Eddie also doesn't say that he didn't force a girl to sleep with him when he was drunk, but when it's Father Francis's turn to talk, Kelly tries to stop him. He says that he knows Wade Greeley didn't rob Mrs. Chance's store, but he doesn't want to say it. Kelly tries to get rid of this by saying that she already had proof against him. Eddie figures out that Christian must have broken into the liquor store and gone to Father Francis' confessional when he was still alive. When Father Francis confirms this, things start to make sense. After Christian got out of jail, he felt pressure from Sully to pay off his debt, so he robbed a liquor store. So it's possible that Wade is now trying to get even for being wrongfully convicted. The countdown ends, and the attacker comes in. This time, he points the gun at Eddie, but Father Francis takes the bullet for him while he pulls the Reverend's body away. Kelly tries to get him to change his mind by calling him Wade. The attacker gets angry and tells her that he hasn't been Wade. Eddie and Jackson try to ask Kelly if she knows anything now that they know all that's left is something about Wade's conviction. She tells them she doesn't remember anything because it's been so long. Soon, Sully figures out that, since Leon said he sold the guns around the time Christian got out of jail, Christian must have used the gun he bought from Leon to rob the store. So Eddie moves his timeline forward and finds out that Sully told Christian why the robbery happened. Leon gave him the chance. Mrs. Chan had the wrong man in mind. Kelly put him in jail. And Father Francis wouldn't tell the police. Coogan, Eddie, and Jackson are the only ones not in the cell because of this. Just then, the countdown ends, and the person who wants to kill Mrs. Chan walks in. This time, Kelly is scared and starts to look for sympathy for her child. The person who attacked her gets mad that she blamed her child and yells at her. Then, later, Kelly says that Jackson is the father of the child. She also says that she made up the evidence against Wade Greeley after Mrs. Chan picked him out by accident, and that she used Jackson to back it up. Eddie thinks about how mad the attacker was when Kelly tried to use her son as a shield. And Coogan, who was in jail for 5 years, might have been the only person who talked to Wade Greeley while he was there. But before Eddie can finish his analysis, the countdown ends and the attacker comes in. He goes to Sully next. Kelly admits that she got rid of a man because he made her sleep with him against her will. Since he swore not to change the way he does business, he shoots him down soon. The other two are too tired to keep going. She also got rid of all clues about who did it and hid all evidence of the murder. After a lot of thought, Eddie finds the last part of the puzzle. Since Kogan inappropriately touched children, he could have talked to Wade Greeley in prison. What if he had AIDS and gave it to Wade Greeley? That would explain why he didn't want his blood to get on anyone. Eddie thinks this might be true because, around the time Wade Greeley left, his company had access to a drug therapy that could help AIDS patients live longer. So Eddie is in jail because he turned Wade Greeley down. Because he has a criminal record, he knows that it must be his father who wants to get back at him. And he planned the attack over the same 2 years that his son had lived. When the timer runs out and the attacker comes in, they tell him this answer and he takes off his mask. Then he gives Kelly the key on purpose and tells her to let herself and the other 2 people out, telling them he has told the police where they are. Instead, Kelly gets out of her lock and attacks the guys behind. She takes his loaded gun and kills everyone, telling them she can't let anyone leave with her confession. When the police arrive, she leaves the building. I was scared. We really appreciate you watching. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel with the notification bell because it is really important for us. Thank you.